Hi, folks, and welcome to a special pre-game episode of Torsion Talks Politics, the Mordred Viking community multiplayer for E4 we got coming up. I'm just going to touch base slightly, or quickly, on some dynamics, some things I'm interested in seeing moving forward this season. You see here on the screen we've got the player map mode that Sierra put together for us. And we'll start over in Asia, where Sierra is located in Korea. Sierra started the previous season in Korea as well, had to drop out, but Curb took over, transitioned Sierra into Ching, became quite the powerhouse. It's going to be interesting to see. This game, we have Aratos over in Japan, or Yasugi or something like that. We'll see how their dynamic works, because the Japanese trade node is actually relatively poor compared to a lot of other ones. So typically a Japan player would look to move into the Manchuria area, the Beijing area, and capture some additional trade. There have been some changes in 1.3 with the way the nodes are laid out. Japan can move south into the Philippines and then capture Polynesia, so they can push Philippines into Polynesia back into Nippon. So that's an option if he chooses to go more navally focused, but expect potential sparks between these two as they look to compete over similar expansion paths. Then moving south into Southeast Asia, we have a new player joining us for the first time this season. Sorry, just going to pull up the player list. Zero G Morals in Mordred. Expect a naval powerhouse to come out of here. He's got some pressure from Indian players, so he probably won't be able to move too strongly into Southeast Asia, but expect a Malaya to form similar to last season, potentially colonial from an Australia perspective. We'll see if he moves into Africa. That's something the previous Asian players did not do. It's a way to try to block Europeans from taking trade, is if you can grab the majority of the trade in the Cape. You can stall any transfers into the Ivory Coast. That should be interesting to see. Moving into India, once again, last season we had 4 players, but essentially 3 in India. Unfortunately, Dominic got taken out early in the first session, so it was just our Sirhind into Delhi, our VJ, and our Bengal player. This time we've got Bengal, rarely, our previous Prussia player, one of the stronger, more aggressive type players on the server, but counterbalanced by Helena, who is an extremely strong colonial player playing Malaria or Colonial Australia last season, and Atos, I believe he started as Cologne into Westphalia and ended as the Netherlands. And then overlooking them, we have Just Dutch, our Ethiopia player, in the Timurids. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not these players work together. Obviously, Baja can expand south into Coromandel. Atos and Mewar can expand into the Gujarat area and north into Lahore and Doab. You've got Bengal, which is a very rich node, has some of the best devable land in India. Typically, their mission tree is pretty robust. They have a really strong mission if they expand into Ming, where they get an additional, I think, 5% army morale till end of game. The other meta type play for Bengal is typically moving north into the Himalayas and doing a culture swap into Nepal. We'll see if Rarely chooses to do that. So typically you see Bengal prep to switch to Nepal and complete that mission into Ming so that they can get that additional army morale. So I think we'll see fireworks again in India, just because, but they may find a way to work together and then maybe combat Sierra's expansion in China. We'll see where Just Dutch falls. He's kind of the focal point from a political perspective. If he moves east, he's going to run up against the Mamelukes and the Great Horde. If he moves west, he'll butt up against the Indians very quickly. He may move north, I got my directions mixed up. If he moves northeast, he's got an expansion route, but this land is pretty crummy. I'd expect him to consolidate the Persia trade node, incredibly rich, incredibly valuable. Maybe Basra, because I can feed into Persia. And then potentially look towards northern India, the Lahore area, maybe into the Nepal. The mountain regions are great from a defensive perspective. Shifting further west, Zale, great horde. We did originally have a Muscovy player. At the last minute, there were some changes. We considered Sidon and Ottomans, but I thought we would have been too crowded here. Great Horde is well positioned to form Golden Horde now. Um, Expect them to take down Muscovy early. They may look to work with Sweden on that goal, depending how quickly Sweden can gain their independence. And then we have Fizz down in the Mamelukes. No competition for the Mamelukes in the Gulf of Aden in Zanzibar. So if he wanted to create an economic powerhouse, he would push hard and fast through Ethiopia into the Gulf of Aden, take out Kilwa, and secure all of East Africa. That would give him a tremendous economic base. If he wants to spice things up from a player war perspective, he can push north. He's got the Aleppo node. He can move into Constantinople, probably before Hungary can do so. So, Timurids and Mamelukes have, I think, the most options available to them day one. It'll be interesting to see how they choose to move from that perspective. Now we come to Europe. It's a little empty compared to what you typically see in an EU4 multiplayer. We would like one more player in Germany or Holland, a Netherlands, a Hanover, something there. But right now we have Sweden, alone without AE. The Calypso player from last season, extremely strong colonial player, navally focused, but obviously Sweden can mix it up on land. It'll be interesting to see how quickly he can consolidate the Lubeck area. Poland, played by Kerberos Pool. Talks are he's going the traditional Ruthenia flip. We will be playing with endgame tags enabled, so in order to do so, he'll have to choose not to establish the Lithuania PU, so that's a pretty early indication of which way he's going to go. And then we've got Martian in Hungary. So two powerhouses in Eastern Europe. They do have expansion routes open to them with no Muscovy, no Ottomans, no Brandenburg, no Austria. But there may be potential conflict eventually because I believe both of their mission trees give them claims on each other. There's a gold mine right on the border with Hungary and Poland. Hungary starts with it, obviously. Bohemia has another gold mine. So they may be looking to expand into some of the same areas, and potential conflict may arise there. Then in Landshut, we've got Mine Boy. He's got an extremely strong expansion path open to him. No Austria, no Brandenburg, no Bohemia. So very valuable land, farmlands in the Bavaria area. Expect him to consolidate and form Bavaria almost instantly, given the way the mission trees work. And then he may look to continue expanding west into the open area, or maybe play Kingmaker and join either Hungary or Poland against the other one. That's going to be an interesting power dynamic to watch. Milan, Jamie, very strong Spain player from last season. Starts off as a much smaller country this time. He's played Milan in a previous MP, was quite strong. There's no one else in Italy for him to contend with, but as you know, growth in the HRE is stunted due to aggressive expansion mechanics. Expect him to play a conservative but well-paced expansion. There's a key gold mine that Austria starts with. I'm not sure who's going to be able to get there first between Bavaria or Milan. I expect Jamie's willing to fight player wars over it. If I'm Jamie, I'm consolidating the Milan area, probably moving into Tuscany, and then turning my attention towards that gold mine. And then we've got our Western Europe power block. We have Panda in England. We have myself in France. We have Gabs in Spain, and then we have Dominic in Portugal. Obviously, expect Portugal to go colonial. Whether they go New World colonial nation colonial or Africa, Asia focused colonial will be interesting to see. Our Portugals have typically gone New World colonial, but I think you can actually make a richer Portugal if you go Africa, Southeast Asia. Obviously, you get troops, you get colonial players, you get all those benefits from going New World colonial. Gabs, strong Spain in the start of the community clash previously that Mordred was commentating, obviously got cut short, but would have been impressive to see what he could have done. He did the more traditional Spain, no colonial ideas, expansion into North Africa. So he may be in a position to contain or contest Jamie, given the Spanish mission tree and some of its claims on southern Italy. Um, it'll be interesting to watch. There's almost a. If you watch The American Office, there's a scene where Michael, Dwight, and Andy are doing a murder mystery and they're all pointing guns at each other. And that's what I see when I see France, England, and Castile. I can't move into Spain or Milan without risking England and Spain moving into me. England might be able to move into me and Spain stays out of it, but it's risky for England to try to fight a land war early game. I can't move into Spain because that opens myself up to England. Spain can't move too aggressively into North Africa to contest the Mamelukes because he'll open himself up to me. So I expect obviously we'll consolidate some of the AIs. I'm probably going to be looking to expand into Western Germany, take advantage of some of the better land here in the lowlands, the Holland, the Netherlands area, northern Germany, and then probably secure some decent defensible positions with a border with Jamie, and then who knows where things will go from there. But Session 1, I think the place to watch is definitely going to be the Middle East. The expansion paths that the Mamelukes take, that the Timurids take, that the Great Horde take, is going to define a lot of the play style for other players. So if Timurids moves towards India, obviously there's conflict. If Great Horde moves down into Persia, there's potential conflict. If Mamelukes move into Constantinople, that's going to present conflict with Hungary. So keep an eye on the Middle East in the weeks coming, and then let's see how long this delicate balance of power lasts in Western Europe. Look forward to seeing everyone on Saturday.